Hey, what is up, mortals? It is JC here, and before we get into the video, there's a few things I'd like to say. Firstly, quick thank you to our supporters on Patreon. The full list will be at the end of the video. If you'd like to support us and our content, please go over there and check it out. I'd like to let you all know we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time. So, if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Now, with that all out of the way, let's get into the video. Where we last left off, Izuku and Shigaraki were heading into the exam hall for UA entrance exam, but was stopped by a voice yelling at them. Izuku turned to look behind them, only to see Bakugo rushing at him with mini explosions on his hands. "I thought I told you not to come here, Deku," he roars before Shigaraki squares up to Bakugo. Izuku had told him how he basically gets bullied by Bakugo in school, and Shigaraki wanted to help his friend. "It's okay, Tomaru, I got this," Izuku says as he pulls Shigaraki back. Over the 10 months Izuku had spent with One For All, his subtle cockiness rubbed off on him a little. "And I thought I told you to stop calling me that," Izuku mutters as he starts to walk away, with Shigaraki following. Bakugo just stood there, dumbfounded and incredibly angry. Izuku wouldn't meet Veronica in this universe at this moment. He wouldn't fall over, and he would mainly talk to Shigaraki on his way in. While in the exam hall and after the written part of the exam, they learned about the physical exam, and how they had to destroy robots for points. Shigaraki got pretty nervous due to not being in the same exam arena as Izuku. They were separated on purpose, since they had close exam numbers. It was to stop friends from helping each other during the exam. Izuku would start mumbling while thinking of a plan for himself. He wouldn't have any outside help, and it also meant he wouldn't have to worry about Bakugo trying to fight him. Some random guy in the hall would yell at him to shut up, but it wasn't Ida like in the normal universe. As the physical exam started, Izuku would stray away from the crowd at the start. He wanted to come up with a strategy that would get him enough points to pass while not using his quirk too much. While he had mentally grown accustomed to his new quirk, his body hadn't quite gotten used to the quirk yet. It hurt him to fire off large blasts. He wouldn't get much time to think, however, as one of the robots charged as Izuku. Employing one of the strategies that One For All taught him, he jumped at the robot and let it swipe him, sending him into a wall. "Are you trying to die?" a random person yells at Izuku as he sees him purposely hurting himself. With a smile on his face, he mutters back, "No, not really." Then his arms start to inflate as he points it at the robot. Then, with a massive blast of air, he sends the robot into a building, destroying it and the building. Izuku would continue doing this a couple more times, purposely getting hit by the robots so he could use that pain against them. He couldn't come up with a better plan. Everything was going fine until the zero-pointer robot loomed over everyone. Most people ran in fear, but Izuku just stood there, frozen in awe from the massive robot. After staring for a couple seconds, Izuku started to run like everyone else, but stopped when he heard cries for help coming from behind him. As he turned around, he saw a girl trapped under a lot of rubble, while the zero-pointer robot got close. Izuku had no idea what to do. If he ran like everyone else, he would be fine, and he thought he had enough points to pass. But he couldn't leave that girl there. Izuku started to think about what One For All would do. Then, with a cocky smile on his face, Izuku started to punch a wall close to him, build up pain. "Are you crazy or something?" someone yells as a group of people run past Izuku and try to get away from the zero-pointer. Izuku didn't reply. Instead, he just kept punching the wall until he could feel his knuckles getting close to breaking. Then, still with a smile, he turned to face the robot and took a deep breath. Pumping some of the pain into one leg, he used it to blast himself at the robot until he got close to the head of it. He then put the rest of the stored pain into his arm and let it go into one massive blast that tore a massive hole into its head. As Izuku started to fall back down, a thought rushed across his head. Crap, I used up all the power! Izuku cries as his cocky personality facade crumbles back down to his normal one, and he gets closer to the ground. Then, before he knew it, someone had smacked him, and he just started to float. The girl who he just tried to save seemed to have a gravity quirk, and used it to stop him from hitting the ground by flying on some robot parts and smacking him. "Release!" the girl mutters as both of them fall to the ground. By the time Izuku got up, the exam had ended. Over the next while, Izuku would wait for his results, but the days started to feel like years as he waited. But something felt odd to him. He hadn't been able to get in contact with One For All at all. It was like he was ignoring him, but getting a hold of Shigaraki was easy. But he was the same. He hadn't seen One For All either. But one day, Izuku would be handed a letter by his mother with a big seal on it, with the letters UA embossed onto it. Without hesitation, Izuku grabs the letter and rushes into his room to open it. As he tore through the envelope, a small disc falls onto the table, with a hologram video recording beginning to play. Before we get back into the story, I would like to say we've got a second channel called Anime Deep Dive. Anime Deep Dive is a channel based on a variety of anime lore. If you're interested in content like this, make sure you click on the icon on the top right corner or check the description below for a link to the channel. Now, with that out of the way, let's get back into the story. Sorry I kept you waiting, Midoriya. The video starts off with, as One For All steps into frame. Izuku watches the video quietly, as it explains a few things. One For All had been hard to reach because he was preparing to be a teacher at UA, and had a lot of these recordings to make. It took up a lot of time. One For All rambles for a bit before saying, "I still remember when I first met you under the bridge. To be honest, I thought you were nothing special. But when I saw you risk your life just to save that kid, I knew there was something more to you than I thought. But, with that out of the way, it's with great respect I welcome you to the Hero Academia." Izuku starts to tear up a little at the end of the message, but doesn't get time to properly cry before he hears loud, repeated knocking on the door, and his mother yelling, "Izuku, it's for you!" As Izuku left his room, he could see an excited Shigaraki smiling at the front door. It was odd to see Shigaraki smile to Izuku. He's pretty sure he's never seen him smile during the 10 months they cleaned the beach together. On their first day of school, Izuku and Shigaraki would meet up and go together. Luckily, they both got into class 1A. One For All probably set that up. When the pair entered the classroom, everyone who was already inside started to stare at Shigaraki, while Mina Ashido yells out, "Hey, that's the guy who destroyed that really big robot so easily." Then a crowd of students surround Shigaraki, and Izuku is pushed away. Most of the class is the same as normal canon, but there are a few changes. For starters, Ida isn't in the class, therefore isn't bickering with Bakugo. Another change is that Kirishima and Todoroki both have black hair, but for different reasons. Since there is no hero Crimson Right in this world, Kirishima wouldn't be inspired to dye his hair to represent his hero. But it would still be spiky to represent his new hero, Gigantamakia. But Todoroki's reasoning is something a lot darker, and something we'll touch on a bit later. Back with Izuku, he was a bit shocked from hearing that Shigaraki had apparently destroyed a zero-pointer as well, and didn't tell him. He didn't get much time to think about it before he heard a voice coming from behind him. "Hey, I recognize you. You're that guy who saved me." As Izuku turned behind him, he saw the girl who he saved from the zero-pointer robot, Ochako Araraka. The two would talk for a bit before they heard stomping coming from the hallway. A man wearing military-like armor with a red bandana covering his eyes and a large scarf was walking down the hallway. Two things struck Izuku as odd. The man was armed to the teeth, blades and other weapons, and he had no clue who he was. Izuku and Araraka moved back as the man entered the class while saying, "Alright, call me Mr. Akaguro. I'm your homeroom teacher." After getting a closer look at the man and hearing his name, Izuku immediately knew who he was. He went by many names, but he commonly went by Stendhal, or by the blood paralysis hero, Stain. He scanned the classroom for a minute like he was looking for someone before saying, "Everyone take a seat, I'll be with you in a minute." Stain had a frightening intensity to him, scaring most of the students into doing what he said. But as Mineta went to take a seat, Stain called out to him. "Except for you, Minoru Mineta. We need to have a chat in the hallway." Mineta followed Stain outside while shaking. Stain closed the door so the students couldn't hear what they were talking about, but they all knew it wasn't about anything good. A few minutes go by of awkward silence before Stain walks in with a smile on his face, but Mineta oddly wasn't with him. "Good! With that out of the way, we can finally start." Stain chuckles before pulling out a bag filled with UAPE uniforms and telling the students to put them on before they meet him outside. When they got outside, Stain explained how he was going to test them. He had done extensive research on all of them. He knew what they were capable of, but he wanted to see their drive to become a hero. But if they didn't show any drive, they would end up like Mineta. To put it bluntly, Stain had just expelled Mineta to set an example for the class in this test. With fear setting into the class, they started to prepare themselves for the challenges ahead. While Shigaraki got the highest score in the entrance exam, "I'll need Bakugo for this example," Stain announces with Bakugo getting angry. "You think you're better than me, don't ya?" He roars at Shigaraki as he is given a ball, and is told to throw it with the use of his quirk. Then, while screaming die, Bakugo shot the ball into the air using his explosion quirk, throwing it around the same distance as Cannon. With the first event being the 50-meter dash, Izuku got to the track and starts to punch the ground to build up pain for his quirk. His plan was to try to shoot himself to the finish line by pumping the stored power into his legs, just like when he shot himself at the zero-pointer. "What the hell are you doing, you damn nerd?" Bakugo yells at him. He was staring at Izuku completely dumbfounded. He turns pain into power. Poetic, but can you use your quirk without interfering with Bakugo in the race, Midoriya? Stain says as he approaches Izuku. Nodding, Izuku continues to punch the ground. Bakugo just stares at him with an even angrier expression. Then, as Stain told them to both go, Izuku pumped the stored energy into his legs and jumped while unleashing it to shoot himself to the end, getting to the finish line in about 3 seconds, while it took Bakugo about 4. During the event, the class would learn Stain was oddly encouraging and good at giving advice on how they should use their quirks, telling Izuku he should power up his fingers for quicker or rapid-fire blasts, and telling Tokiyami to use Dark Shadow more like a weapon or armor, when needed for up-close situations. With the event done, the results would be very similar to the ones from Canon, except Izuku would get close to the top and Shigaraki getting the lowest score. But, while the results were being shown, Todoroki started to frantically write down everything he learned. From the students' quirks to the homeroom teacher himself, each one going into great detail. Izuku noted this and took a peek over his shoulders, but was just horrified to see he was also writing ways to kill them. "Oh, don't mind me, I'm just taking notes," Todoroki mutters as he walks off very suspiciously. Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now, there's a few more things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Secondly, I'd like to thank our $5 plus Patreon supporters for helping fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the editor for this video. Their details will be in the description. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested, and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out, mortals. Have an amazing day.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from